when people claim that they've seen or witnessed alien life, when that alien life is carbon-based in its description, that immediately gives me reason to pause.
Good point.
Because why would we think that life is carbon-based? Why would we think that life in another planet in a completely different environment would be based on the same building blocks as us?
Well, it would depend on where the sun is and then where that planet is in rotation. So it could be possible, but a carbon life that we can't see, I can't see how a carbon life could go at the speed of light through the matter and get here.
Oh, and why would it even, why would it follow any of the rules that we currently have, right? So if you think about it, if we're ants and there's some alien out there that's like a person, when an ant sees us, they don't think of us as a life form, right? An ant looks up and they just see basically a giant moving thing. That we look at clouds. What do we see? Giant moving things. We don't associate them as having any kind of intelligence because we don't know what intelligence is unless it's our type of intelligence. Now, I'm not saying clouds are intelligent life or anything, but what I am saying is if there's aliens out there, why the hell do we think they haven't already been watching us? Why do we think that they'd be visible to us? Why do we think that they would be the same size as us? Fly in vehicles that are shaped like our vehicles. Why do we think that their vehicles would move like our vehicles? Why do we think any of that? There's absolutely no reason. For all we know, in the deepest parts of the ocean, there's an alien already called an octopus, right?
Yeah.
And it's smarter than we think it is. For all we know, dolphins are aliens, right? We have no clue. We have no ability to actually conceptualize what a real foreign, or a real extraterrestrial life form would look like. And anytime I hear someone describe an extraterrestrial through the lens of anything sci-fi, it immediately makes me feel like that person's subconscious has been influenced by media, not just news media, but like entertainment media. And it's digitizing, it's connecting, their subconscious is connecting what they know and what they've seen with what they don't know, and it's helping them process to an incomplete conclusion.
Yeah, I don't think they would look anything like what they show because it would depend on the atmosphere because the body would adjust naturally, like everything else. It would evolve into its surroundings.
Right, and that's assuming that they even have a physical manifestation, right? Like
who the fuck knows what's
energy and matter have a relationship, so it's nuts. So anyways, my point is that when I did my research, what I found is that the highest probability for all outcomes of UFOs around the world were tied almost exclusively to something that could be probabilistically explained through military or research and development with military application, because everything worked in a terrestrial way, with the exception of some of the atmospheric phenomenon, where pilots see stuff like clouds that take certain shapes or things that appear or disappear from like peripheral vision. So some of that stuff was really interesting to me. But for sure, the conclusion that I had was that we absolutely need to be looking to the skies more. There needs to be more attention. There needs to be more awareness. There needs to be more money, more effort to explain what's happening up there, because it's becoming a national security issue. Airline safety, passenger safety, national security, border security. When you think about if it's Chinese hypersonic missiles or if it's aliens from another galaxy, we should really be looking at it and trying to figure it out.
And what a better way to distract, let's say it's military, because this stuff, I lean toward military. Other things is other things, but this, I lean toward military. Yeah. And what better way to distract and say, oh, it looks like a UFO, and then nobody's even thinking military. They're thinking UFO, and that totally distracts. Even the pilot doesn't know what the hell it is, you know what I mean? Because whether it's us or whoever, it's so secret that it's a UFO. They don't even know. And that there's no better way to distract, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to cover it up, and it causes all sorts of really unproductive, almost toxic environments, because now you have professional pilots who see things that they can't explain, but they don't want to be ridiculed when they land. So they just don't say anything at all. They don't file a report. They don't talk about it because they're like, I can't say that I saw something, and people are going to think I'm a wackadoodle,
yeah.
Right? So instead, I'm just going to go ahead and forget that thing ever happened. And when the DoD came out with their report on UFOs, one of the main findings they had was that there's lots of sightings that happen that nobody reports because they're afraid of being condemned by their supervisors or their peers, taken out of the cockpit, put on ground patrol or ground duty. So they just keep their mouth shut. And that's not conducive to national security or flight safety requirements.
You know what's funny? You can almost relate that to the school shootings, right? because you're not reporting what you're seeing because you don't want the backlash.
Yep.
And then the school shootings, you're not providing the proper training. You don't want to be the one to come out and say, hey, you're not doing it right. This is how you need to do it. There's kind of a correlation there with all this weird stuff that's happening, right?
Look at you, man. That's the right word too, brother. I love it.
I'm getting the wording down and everything. All right. Play this, Rob.
Yep.
Even though Andrew's probably seen this 100 times. Just like when you see this, from the Air Force, like what are you thinking?
Yeah.
The Pentagon just disclassified 3 UFO videos taken by Navy pilots. See, just when they say that tells me they're covering up shit.
Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
What are you seeing there?
So what I hear, if you'll pause real quick.
Pause that, Rob?
So I'm going into agency stuff, CIA stuff more so than military stuff, right? Listen to their voices. They don't sound scared. They don't sound surprised. They sound surprised. They sound entertained.
Entertained, yeah.
Right? Like, this is crazy, man. Look at this thing. So that tells me that this is not the first time they've seen something unfamiliar or foreign in the air. So they don't immediately see it as a threat. These don't sound like people who are seeing this thing as a threat to them.
Right, and if you saw it for the first time, you'd be like, whoa, shit.
What is that?
Hey, look, there's something up here. I don't know if it's going to hit me, shoot at me. It's moving around.
Exactly
because you would be worried it's going to come after you,
exactly
right? I think anybody naturally would.
So these are pilots who have either seen this thing before or they've seen something else that they can't really describe, right? And the radio calls that we're hearing are them talking to each other, not them radioing into like headquarters to make an official report. Official reports sound like official reports, right? Hey, this is November 627 on heading such and such over GPS coordinates yo and yo, and this is what's going on. They're just talking to each other saying, oh, shit, man, look at that. This is crazy. That guy's going against the wind.
Great point. So they had to have seen this shit before. Otherwise, they would call into headquarters, right?
Correct.
There's no way that they don't, by policy on them, you would have to.
Right. So if that's one of the first things that I pick up when I see these videos, right? The fact that there's something flying is less relevant to me than the pilot's reaction. Because it's obvious to me that this is not the first time they've seen something unidentified in the sky with them. If you like this short clip, make sure you click here to see the next clip or here to see the full podcast episode.